Hello, ladies and gentlemen! HxH here, aka the Hypocritical Gamer, bringing you the next episode of Hunter x Hunter Vlogs. Today's episode is called Hisoka is Sneaky. That's episode 5, along with chapter 9. Where episode 5 ended, it went into probably the beginning of chapter 10, but I decided not to read it because it was going to be a very little bit. Where chapter 9 ended was very close to where episode 5 ended, just a little bit before. So I just read chapter 9 and that's it. So, basically, what happened is episode 5 started out where, of course, the last chapter left off, where it started showing you all the denizens of the Swindler's Swamp. Now, this is something that I haven't really had much of an opinion about what something has done better with, in regards to the manga or the anime, but this time around, I'm with the manga on this one. The anime focused less on why the creatures were doing this. Like, it said, it told you what the name of the creature was, but didn't tell you what its gimmick was. It just kind of showed you. And there's some things where you don't exactly understand the idea of why they're doing this. Like, butterflies putting you to sleep. If you just see that and it doesn't mention the fact that they're gonna lay their eggs inside of you, then it's kind of like, okay, that's odd. And then you see the mushroom sprout on people. The little strawberry tortoise or whatever it was called, that thing didn't make any sense, you know. But again, it was explained about what they did and how it worked in the manga. And I mean, Hunter x Hunter has a narrator, so the narrator could have said something. But, you know, they didn't, so what really bothers me is that the anime spent a little bit more time, instead of explaining what these things do, they spent it on people reacting to what they did. Because some people would get caught, and then other peoples would not get caught in the creature's traps, and they would be all like, oh no, this is like really dangerous. And, you know, one thing in particular was the thing I told you I liked last episode, the frog that, you know, hid underground with its mouth open. Instead of just catching people, it caught Gon and Killua, which I was thinking, it's kind of weird for them to fall into that trap. Because they're supposed to be very good at what they do, identifying things and, you know, noticing other things. But the anime made it a point to mention that they fell behind even though they were in front, and that then they got caught in this frog trap. It didn't make a ton of sense to me, you know, and it really didn't matter. The only reason that it was there was to introduce that frog thing, because otherwise nothing new was given to us that the manga didn't already introduce. I mean, the way they got out of the frog is Killua had some of that laxative in the laxative drink that the Rookie Crusher gave him, and he, like, I guess poured it in the frog's mouth or something that made him throw up. It didn't make a lot of sense. And it was just, it was a lot of time devoted to things that were not needed, that could have been devoted to, like, explaining, being more specific with what these creatures do. That's just something that I personally would have liked. You know, maybe you guys feel differently. So after that, it then goes into Hisoka, now that this guy's had a nice long episode to himself, and the episode name, Hisoka is Sneaky. It's a kind of a weird name for an episode, but anyway, Hisoka is Sneaky. It focuses on his part, and again, what happens in the manga and anime are different. And again, I kind of side with the manga. Because the manga made him seem more threatening. Because he came up upon people. He killed one of those mimic ape things. Or both of them, actually. He killed them. And then he's wanting to kill again. Killua himself said that. And he in the manga, he just came up to people, some random people, and was like, I will be the examiner now. All creepy like. But in the anime, these people came up to him, and they said, yeah, we're gonna take you down. We're not gonna let you take the test again. And the people said that in the manga in chapter 9 as well, but again, they came to Hisoka. In the manga, Hisoka came to them. Like, Hisoka was planning on killing them. In the anime, they didn't make it seem like Hisoka had that in mind. Like, Hisoka was minding his own damn business, and these guys just came up and said, alright, we don't like you, so we're not gonna let you, we're gonna try to stop you here and now. It just doesn't really make sense. But, after that, the changes, the small changes that they made were very welcome changes. Like, for instance, when, in the anime, Kurapika and Leorio, when they get caught by Hisoka, it's Kurapika who tells Leorio, alright, we need to split up. Just you run one way, I'll run the other way, we are no match for this guy. Which, it turns out, he was right, they are no match for that guy. He's really strong. And, that's what they do. And it works for a bit, but before I get to what happens next, in the manga, there's a third guy who I have no idea who he is. Maybe he'll come back later, because it didn't look like he died. But I don't know. Hold on a second. Anyway, he was the one who suggested that all three of them run. And they all split per his orders, and he was kind of saying that, I know we all have reasons to be hunters. It kind of made it seem like he was important, so maybe he is. And if he is important, then again, shame on the anime. And if he's not important, then good for the anime for, taking out an unnecessary character. And then the other change they made was when Gon showed up. Gon and Hisoka's battle was longer, and it was, it wasn't really a battle. It was just Gon flinging his fishing rod around, and Hisoka not getting hit because he's intangible, I guess, or smoky or something. He couldn't get hit. Something just fell down. It was very, very interesting, but what was really interesting, which really got me more interested in this later part of the story, because the rest of it was a little meh, didn't really care much about it. But Hisoka all of a sudden stopped fighting, and once he got Gon where he wanted, he grabbed hold of his neck, he's like, you and Leorio pass. Oh, I forgot to mention, Leorio came back. He's like, sorry, I'm not running. He's like, it's not in my nature to run, even if I'm no match, so... Then Hisoka took him out, and then Gon showed up, and they got in their fight, and then Hisoka got the better of Gon very quickly, grabbed him by the throat, and he's like, Leorio passes my test, and so do you. And then he said, go and be a hunter. Really supportive, it seems like this guy might not be a bad guy. And I really don't think he's going to be a bad guy. I never really thought that, because usually in Japanese storytelling, particularly manga/anime stories, when things like exams come by and you meet people who are villains, they usually end up not being that bad, and they become allies later on. So I don't think Hisoka is going to be a series villain. Maybe a season villain, but not a series villain. I think that eventually he'll be on the side of Gon and everyone else. But that's just a guess. An educated guess. Anyway, so that was interesting. I really liked that. So then Hisoka leaves, he takes Leorio with him, and, pisses off. Oh, that's right. He was talking on the walkie-talkie. In the anime, we saw somebody put somebody on the other side of the walkie-talkie into his pocket and everything, and he looked like he had purple hands, which leads me to believe it's the guy with all the, the pins in his face, the Hellraiser guy. That is Hellraiser. I'm pretty sure that's Hellraiser. With the horror movie with the guy with the needles in his face and everything. Anyway, the guy like that, but purple face, and kind of walks like a puppet or a toy or something. Anyway, I think that was the guy who he was talking to, who Hisoka was talking to on the other radio, which leads me to believe they have ulterior motives than just passing the test. But again, we'll see. Then Kurapika catches up after realizing Leorio came back, and Kurapika and Gon, because Leorio was taken by Hisoka, they start running and catching up with the people who are waiting at the gate, which is probably the beginning of Phase 2. Anyway, or Test 2, Exam 2, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, and Gon and Kurapika have this conversation about basically what kind of man Hisoka is. What did he mean by he passed? What was he trying to figure out? And, Kurapika had lots of guesses, but more interesting than what they thought about Hisoka was Gon's reaction. It's like, yeah, I was terrified during this fight. Like, he had his first real challenge. First time he's ever been he's had mortal fear. And the kind of excitement of that fear intrigued him. He was like, I've never felt this way before. It's interesting. It's kind of exciting. Which leads me to believe that Gon might in fact be some sort of, not, risk taker's not the word I'm looking for, adrenaline junkie or something like that. Something to that effect. He loves the adrenaline, whether it be, from fear or from excitement or anything like that. He loves it. But that's, again, I'm just kind of laying out ideas here because I haven't really seen Gon in several different situations. It's only 5 episodes, 9 chapters in. But I'm interested because of that and because of Hisoka. But overall, I can't say I really liked the episode just because of all the other stuff I was talking about. Maybe I would have felt differently if I hadn't read the manga chapter first. But either way, it doesn't really matter. Because, it's just a short part of a larger story. Yep, so those are pretty much my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are in the episode below. And, anything else I want to mention? I can't think of anything. So until next time, this has been Georgia64, aka The Hypocritical Gamer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time!